Hey, and welcome to today's video, where today we're going to do the Mid-Year Book Freakout Tag. So obviously it's nearly the middle of the year, and I just wanted to reflect on how my reading has been going so far in 2026. And also it's really fun because this is my first 6 months I've been on YouTube. So at the end of this video, we're going to do a little section of me reflecting on that, but before that, let's get into the questions. Also, before I forget to mention it, I'm gonna do this for maximum variety in that I can only answer with one book for one question. So my favorite book may be also from an author I've never read from before, and that author may be my favorite new author, but I can only answer one book per one question, just to keep it interesting. So the first question is, what is your best book you've read so far in 2026? And obviously, my answer is The Gloaming by Kirsty Logan. You've heard me talk about this book, you're probably sick of it, so I'm gonna keep it short, but I absolutely love this. It's absolutely 5 stars. I love the atmosphere, I love the writing, I love the lesbians, I love the characters, I love how sad it is, I love the island that it's taking place on, I love everything about this, so this is my answer. The next question is, best sequel you've picked up so far in 2026? And I'm very bad at reading series, so I actually haven't really picked up a sequel in 2026, but my answer for this is Pink Heart Jam Beat 1 by Shike. So I have read this, but I've never read the original series, so I don't know if this counts, but it is a sequel, so I'm gonna count it for myself. And I really like this. I actually finished this yesterday, and it really helped me because I'm in a reading slump, and just reading BL there totally helps me because it's just faster. And yeah, I at first couldn't get into it, but then it really got very emotional, very melodramatic, which I love. And the connection some of these characters had to music and how that is explored, I thought was really moving. And as someone who also really emotionally connects to music, I really understood that. And yeah, I loved it. I gave it 4 stars, and that's my answer for this question. Then we have a 2026 new release you absolutely want to read but haven't read yet. And that for me is The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. It, I think, came out in March or something, definitely earlier this year, and I've heard everybody rave about it. I've recently definitely been getting a little more into fantasy, and some of them really have been hits, some of them misses, like we don't talk about Lord of the Rings and how much of a failure that was for me, but I have heard that this is extremely gay and also a little horror tinged, which could definitely be some strengths that I would like in a book, and so I definitely want to still check that one out. Next up, we have an anticipated new release for the rest of 2026, and I'm gonna be boring and just say Incarnate by Alma Katsu. I bet if I studied my wish list like very closely, I would find out another new release that I would really love to read. But I have so many books on my wish list, and so many of them are backlist because I never really get to new releases. But I always read the new Amakatsu book when it comes out, especially if it's a horror book. And this year I've already pre-ordered it. I hopefully am gonna love it, so this is my answer for that one. Then we have the biggest disappointment you've read in 2026. And unfortunately, I have to answer Scratch Moss by David Barnett. I have read this early in the year, and this is just a disappointment for me. It's 3 stars, so it's not that bad of a book, but the first half of this was truly amazing, and it sadly just all went downhill into the second half. I have an entire video talking about this book if you want to check it out, and I would still recommend it at the end of the day, but for me, the second half was just such a letdown that I definitely have to count it as my biggest disappointment of 2026. On the other end of the spectrum, there's the biggest surprise you've read in 2026, and that for me is Bear Town by Frederick Bachman. So I didn't really expect to love this, but I had heard that everybody thought this was so emotional and so good, and it made everybody cry. It didn't make me cry, but I did think this was very good. It's one of my 5 stars of the year. I do absolutely love it. The character dynamics are so good. I never expected a book written by a man to have that good of a conversation about what happens in this book, and I actually already have a copy of the sequel, which I didn't intend to read. I know I said it in the vlog I read this in, but now I do have one because I found it at a little free library, and so I eventually have to dive into the rest of the series, and yeah, I love this. The next question is favorite new author, and like I said at the start of the video, it would technically be another answer, but because I can only answer one book at a time, we're gonna go with Yang Si Chu, who wrote The Foxwife, which is one of my 5 stars of the year. I absolutely do love her, and she definitely is a valid pick for my favorite new author. I do already have another book of hers that sounds very similar to this one. I think it's called The Night Tiger, and I don't know where it is, so I'm not gonna search for it, but I do already have it, and I do I am not good at sticking to TBRs, but I do plan to read it over the summer. And yeah, The Foxwife was truly magical. I loved the character, and if I didn't have this here, she would probably end up as my answer for a favorite character. And yeah, I really love this, and she definitely is one of my favorite new authors. Then we have my newest fictional crush, and you've heard me rave about this, but it's The Deer Monster from There's a Monster in the Woods by Fake Win. look at this guy, he's hot as hell. If you have read this book, then you know that he's not just that on the outside, but also on the inside. Like, for a beast that doesn't talk, he's truly like amazing, even in an emotional sense, and definitely in a physical sense. This is so good. I loved every scene with him. Absolutely my new crush of 2026 so far. Then we have favorite new character, and that for me is the mermaid from The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Caw. So I absolutely thought this mermaid was iconic. Like, I'm sorry, but giving birth to a horde of small mermaids that ate a kingdom is kind of iconic. Also, like, as a revenge, because your weird prince husband caught you from the sea and defanged you. And yeah, men are horrible. You had every right to let your kids eat that nation. And also, she is accompanied by a non-binary doctor. So I feel very seen, and I think that if such an apocalyptic event were to happen in my time, then maybe I would also be spared, because I think she would really like me. So yeah, I love this character, and she's my answer for this one. Then we have a book that made you cry, and my answer for this is gonna be The Har by David Sodergren. This book didn't directly make me cry in its content or anything, but I did definitely read this, immediately get my fear of aging again, put the book down, then my thoughts started to spiral, and I was like sobbing so hard. And yeah, so technically the book made me cry, and while it didn't do it that by its own merit, it definitely had like the first spark in a chain of events that definitely had me crying. So I'm gonna take this as my answer for this one. Then we have a book that made you happy. And I don't really know where I put this, so I can't really show it to you physically, but that is Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. I thought this was so sweet. It's so short, you can read it so fast, which I did. I love these characters. The video game references were not as cringy as I expected, which is a win in my book if I ever had one. And yeah, I do love Ali Hazelwood. I have so many more of her books, and she just hits for me every time. So this one is my answer for that question. The next question technically says most beautiful book that you've bought this year, but I'm gonna answer with most beautiful book that you've read this year, because I buy a lot of books and I would have to look through a lot to really determine that. So the most beautiful book that I've read this year, according to my watch, and none of the previous answers count because, again, only one book per answer, this is The Convenience Store by the Sea by Sonoko Machida. So I really just love this cover. I don't really know what it does for me, but this illustration is so cute. And yeah, I absolutely love that I've got this edition. I think it's the UK one, but I've seen another cover for this going around that is so goddamn ugly. So I am really very thankful that I have this cutesy cover. And also the book itself is very cutesy. So I think the content inside the book reflects the outside, which I also love. And yeah, this is beautiful, and it's my answer for this question. And the last question is a book that you absolutely have to read in the rest of 2026. This one is tricky because I am very terrible at sticking to TBRs, but I'm just gonna lean out of the window and say The Gracekeepers by Kirsty Logan. Again, I loved The Gloaming, and The Gracekeepers came before, and The Gloaming is technically a spiritual prequel, but you can read both of them on its own. And I've already started The Gracekeepers, and I know that I'm gonna love it, but it sadly just fell prey to the slight reading slump that I'm currently in. So I definitely want to pick it up as soon as I'm in a normal mood again, and definitely finish it because I think I'm gonna love it. And yeah, that's all the questions for the mid-year book freakout tag for 2026. I definitely liked doing this, and now there's the portion of the video where I'm gonna reflect on my first 6 months on YouTube. So if you don't care about that, then click off, but I just want you to know that I really appreciate everybody watching this video, and just saying that, like, I really appreciate everybody who's ever tuned into any one of my videos, because I only did this for 6 months, and you might say that 77 subscribers is not that huge of a number, but truly I would have never thought that I would actually be able to entertain so many people, that so many people would find me interesting enough to subscribe. And yeah, I love doing this, okay? I might not like some of my early videos I've done, but the further I go, and I know that not every video is a hit, but I really like doing this. I just really like getting to talk to somebody, even if it's just through the veil of my phone. And I think in the same way that journaling, when I started it, really helped me to just getting to articulate my feelings, I think this hobby just really helps me to get my thoughts out there. And yeah, I absolutely love doing this. I am very thankful to everybody who has ever left a comment, especially you, Music Room, some number that I can't remember. I see every one of your comments, and I'm sorry that also this is general to everyone who's ever left a comment. I'm sorry if I like don't answer, but just sometimes I don't really know what to say, because if you ask me for like a book recommendation or ask me if I have read some certain book, like I can definitely answer that. But like some other things, if you just like comment something, I like often don't know how to answer because I am very awkward socially, even if it's just online. So yeah, I just know that I do appreciate every comment, the positive ones, the negative ones, the neutral ones, no matter. I just absolutely love this. And yeah, thank you. Also, huge thank yous to everyone who's supported me through this. My subscribers, the people who watch my video, Sunny, my other friends, also my mom, who for some reason chooses to watch all of this content. I really don't know why you do this to yourself. I think this has to be very cringe, but I love it. And also, special thanks to Petra. I love your content. I think you're so cool, and it's like such a coincidence that like Sunny met you, and I oh my god, it's so cool. I really loved it. Thank you for the advice about changing my channel name to something more recognizable. I definitely did that. Also, thank you for the book you gave me. I don't know where I put it, but I definitely am gonna read it. I thank you really, and as soon as Sunny has time again, I'm definitely gonna visit you with her. Yeah, just thank you to everyone who watches my videos. I've probably already said that 5 times. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you would consider subscribing or leaving a comment, that would mean the world to me. But even if you don't, I still hope you had fun. I definitely did. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!